The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff or management of Worldwide Digital Broadcasting Corporation.
Whether she's walking the red carpet or doing interviews, you'll find her with celebrities and all the latest news. She's here, she's there, she's everywhere, she's always on the go. So sit back, relax, and get ready, 'cause it's the Corey Taylor Talks Show.
Hello everybody, and welcome to Corey Taylor Talks, live from Las Vegas, the #1 teen talk show. I am so excited for my two guests today. We have Kelly and Eleanor Schwarze. So hi guys.
Hello. Thank you for having us. This is quite an honor. Thank you.
Well, thank you for being on. Truly, I am so honored. And Eleanor, I'm so excited to have you on too. I think this is your first interview ever, probably, huh?
She's shaking her head for those radios. She's only 3. She's learning how to be vocal. Let's see.
No, she's doing great. She's doing great. And the camera just absolutely adores her, so it's perfect. Well, I have to say, Kelly, you have like an incredible influence on the Las Vegas film community, and you have done so much. I wanted you on the show forever. Now we finally got it going because you have a new movie/book as well, Alien Domicile, and it looks so great and incredible, and I'm so excited to see it. So why don't you tell people a little bit about it and about yourself and stuff, because like I said, and Emmy-nominated director, people. Emmy-nominated director, too. So very honored.
Well, thank you for that introduction. I've tried my hardest to create something here locally for not only myself, but for the community. My Charisma Schwarze.
We love Charisma, too. She's amazing.
Charisma, and we started the Indie Film Factory, and she was instrumental in kind of getting that together. And since then, it's really become a beacon of I call it the clubhouse. It's like the local local place for filmmakers to come and play, and it's really become a staple in the community. It makes me quite proud to know that we were able to do that for the community. But I've been making movies now almost 15 years. Alien Domicile is my 6th feature film.
Awesome.
I can feel the age creeping in on me on that.
No. I know, right? No.
But what's funny about that is every time you do a movie, you feel like it's your first. I mean,
right.
That's the way it feels, because you're always constantly learning something new about yourself and about you creatively as an artist. And Alien Domicile by far was the hardest movie I have done so far.
Wow, really?
Yes.
Why would you say that?
Well, logistically it was difficult, but I mean, anytime you're doing something like a science fiction film, that's what Alien Domicile is. There's a lot of moving parts that go into it. Well, obviously you have an alien person, a guy running around in an alien costume. Which, by the way, I'm gonna drop it now. It's Will Edwards.
No way.
Yes, Will Edwards.
Gosh.
He's a local talk show
That's
host.
awesome. I love Will's amazing. He's been on the show a couple times too. We love him.
He's a comedian. He's a fine actor and a really great friend of mine. One of my best friends. We were driving. He's like, I want to play the alien. I'm just saying.
Well, that's
awesome. So I put him in. But when you have all these moving parts, there's a lot of things that you're trying to service to make happen, and obviously having a very small microscopic budget, and to try to pull all that off is always a challenge.
Oh yeah. Well, you do pull it off really well, because it's very difficult, and I don't think a lot of people understand. Like, everyone thinks, all these movies have these huge budgets and they could do it. No, a lot indie films, that's why they're indie films. They don't have a huge budget, and they have to work with what they got, and you always pull it off. You really do.
Well, thank you. And of course, I couldn't do what I do without my team.
Yeah, you have the most incredible team ever. Everyone there is the sweetest person, and they're so talented and amazing. You have a great team.
First off, with this particular movie, and even the movie that we worked on, we did a movie called Territory 8, where you were my victim, my sick victim in there.
I was dying.
And Corey was amazing. You were probably the best people to direct.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
But I have an amazing team that I work with, and on Alien Domicile, not only the cast, like Ellie Brown, phenomenal actor. I worked on several projects with her. Michael Montiero, who was first time we worked together on this project. Edward Osipov, who again is my first time. Sabrina Copefield. and of course Michael Tushouse,
Yes.
who plays kind of the villain character in the movie. If you
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and so I had a great cast to start with. That was the first thing, and then of course the second thing is having like Omar Gomez, who is my DP. I have Mark Johnson, who does visual effects. Charisma worked with us on the art, production design, and the sets and all that stuff. So when you have a great core group of people, and I know I'm missing a few people in this.
Of course,
it's
a lot. There's a lot.
But you have tremendous success. We're able to do a lot with very, very little.
No, and we really, like I said, there's a bug.
That's okay. He's trying to get on the show.
No, but you really do. You pull it off so well. And everyone, I really say the Las Vegas film community looks up to you so much because you're such a role model and you've accomplished so much, and you're so supportive of everyone else, and that's a really cool thing too, because unfortunately I think it's getting a lot better, but at least it used to be like it was very kind of competitive, the film community in Las Vegas. And but we shouldn't be like that. We should be more helpful towards each other and build each other up, because we're trying to all make it. We're not in Hollywood. We're in Las Vegas, and we're trying to help each other. And I think it's hopefully getting better. But you've always been great with that.
Well, thank you. I mean, I've traveled to I've seen different film communities all over the country, and that tends to be an epidemic. I mean, I think anytime you get a core group of creative people together, they become a bit territorial.
Yeah.
And it's natural instinct to form kind of groups and cliques and things like that. And so what I have found with doing like these functions, like these mixers and these things at our studio and doing workshops, is that it is an incredible opportunity for us to make the bridge between these various groups of filmmakers.
Right.
And one of the things I certainly want to plug is CSN, College of Southern Nevada.
Yes.
I do a boot camp there every fall. And
which is so cool.
John Aliano and his program is absolutely amazing. Now, I'm not a career teacher. I do this is basically, I love doing it. I really enjoy teaching,
right.
But it's not something I'm doing so much as a career. But what I find is very interesting is when I started over there, I was expecting to find a very cliquish group of people.
Yeah, no,
for
sure.
Not that situation. John
awesome.
has made that a very inclusive program where they integrate people together and pretty much force students to work with each other, which is quite amazing. And so you have people that one day will be a director on one project, and that same person will be holding a boom on somebody else's project.
Cool.
Yeah, and it's quite impressive. Very, very impressive.
No, that is, and I think that's a really good thing to bring up too. And that is so cool that you teach at CSN and do every fall and stuff. That's really a good thing, Kelly. That's really cool.
Yeah, and it gives me an opportunity to meet an amazing group of new talented filmmakers. And when you're in the industry, we tend to, we shut off because you find a good group of people and you kind of work in kind of a circle.
With it, right?
And so teaching has allowed me to meet these mavericks, these new students that are coming out of they're making coming into their own and are really quite impressive, really quite impressive.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the newer talents and stuff, they're doing great stuff, and they're really open, and I think they're gonna be really big ones too. And that's cool that you're helping guide them and stuff, because there's a lot of really great talent coming out of Vegas lately.
There is. In fact, I was just having a conversation with somebody about the Damn Short Film Festival that they just had, just recently.
Right.
And my friend was telling me, he said, he went there, when you go to some of these short film showcases, especially like, local film showcases, you don't know what you're necessarily going to get.
Right.
Now, the Damn Short Film Festival is known around the country as being a very, well organized, well structured showcase. He was blown away. I mean, he said, it was really quite amazing, the quality of films that were in that showcase. Now, I didn't get a chance to do it. I've been working and traveling around, so I didn't get a chance to go. But I got to tell you, I'm looking forward to seeing some of these movies come out, being released on Facebook or YouTube or whatnot.
No, for sure, and I think it's going to be awesome. And even the Las Vegas 48-Hour Film Project, you were a part of that as well, and you've been a part of it for years. And that's the very first film I've ever done in my whole entire career was with you for the 48-Hour Film Project. It's a Good Day. Oh my goodness, that was epic.
That. It seemed like it was yesterday. You know how long? It's been several years ago now.
Yeah.
I mean, well, you said you were like 13.
Yeah, I think I was like 13. So.
Yeah, good grief, What's great about the 48-Hour Film Festival is, of course, it's a national competition.
Right.
But what's interesting about that is that, again, that's an inclusion program. So, where we met, I mean, I don't think we would have met otherwise. I think that would have been,
No.
we would not have met each other.
For
and
sure.
I think that's what's great about programs like that, because they force filmmakers to, of course, to do the thing. My 3-year-old saying, "Hold me, hold me." So yeah, that's what that is. But let's see if I can talk at the same time.
Yeah. No, you're doing great. And she just lost her daddy, so that's a good thing.
But I've been a judge over there. I've helped judge that event. I really admire the organizers every year that put those things on, because it is a lot of work. I mean, a tremendous amount of work.
Well, what's cool is you get a lot of teams that have done it for years and years and years, but even this year there was a lot of new teams that I've never even heard them do anything before. And I think the team that won this year, actually, this was like their first 48-hour film they've ever done, or like one of their first films they've ever done. And that's a really cool thing, and it's very inclusive, and that's an important thing for sure.
Yeah, it's very inclusive, because again, people who go to these types of events, they have these mixers where you can meet people, and I think that's actually where we met. My goal was, I didn't go in there with like, oh, I have a core group of people that I'm going to work with.
Right.
I went in there to meet new people, and that's what was really great about that. And I think that's how those things should work. They should work in that respect.
Well, that's literally how I started my whole film career, because someone said, oh, there's like this film project, and like you could go there and meet people. And so I was like, okay, I might as well try it, because I did theater acting and stuff before in middle school, but I didn't really know much about it. And I went there, and you were just so great, and everyone with you. I think Omar was there, and so it was so cool, and you were so nice. And then when you called me and offered me to like go and work with you guys, I was like, oh my goodness. And I think because it was such an incredible first experience, that's why I continued film acting and stuff, and I love it. And so I want to thank you for that too, because you were very inclusive. You invited all these new talents and stuff, and that was a really, really cool thing for you to do.
One of the great aspects of being an independent filmmaker is that you're given the ability to kind of do things the way you want to do them. And I've worked in production. I've seen all different levels of stress and scenarios.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I always swore to myself is that I was going to make things a better environment for people that I were working with, and of course the actors and myself. I think it's something that should not be stressful. It should be an enjoyable industry. And I've certainly I've been fortunate enough to kind of do some stuff where it's been able to sustain me and sustain itself.
Yeah.
And it's been great. I'm quite blessed in that respect. But if I feel good to know that I'm doing things my way.
No, for sure.
And so I think that's what's an important takeaway, at least from my perspective in my career, is that you do things the way you need to do them that speaks to you. You do them true to yourself.
Absolutely. And let's talk more about the Indie Film Factory as well, because
yes, Indie Film Factory.
Like you said, Charisma also is incredible. I love Charisma too. You guys are like the power couple of Las Vegas. You're great. But it's a cool environment. You guys throw like holidays parties and stuff, and you have a million workshops there, and your sets that you build are absolutely insane. Like, it's just the coolest place. It's like a hangout place, like you said. I mean, it really is so awesome. I love going there every time.
Well, thank you. I mean, we didn't know what we were doing when we started that studio.
Of course.
The only thing we knew is that we needed a studio. And it was something that we felt that, hey, if we created something, I wonder, if this would be a business model, not so we could get rich, but at least so it could take care of itself.
Right.
And at first it was scary, because first off, what are independent filmmakers? They're all broke. Everyone's broke.
No, it's true, right.
So you're selling to people that don't necessarily have a budget. But what we found was that once we created that, it created a different conversation with filmmakers. Yeah. So it gave them the ability to have a professional space without having to spend tons of money to do it. One of the things that I find, and trust me, I've had major television shows filmed there. I mean, this past week,
and music videos, everything.
I've had 2 major networks within the last 2 months that have been shooting
awesome.
TV shows in our studio. So we have a wide range of clients. But what's great about it is when an independent filmmaker calls me and says, hey, I just need the space to do either casting, or I just need the space to do, just a quick little insert shot from my movie. I can be flexible with he or she depending on the circumstances,
right.
And we can get them in and get them out, and it doesn't cost them that much.
No, and that's a really cool thing, and you should be proud of yourself for that too, because especially in Vegas, you never know how things are going to work out, and it's very scary opening a business, and you guys, because you're so cool and you are you're very vocal, and everyone just absolutely adores you guys. Everyone wants to go there, and that's a really cool thing. And you guys have been lucky with making it and stuff. So
well, it obviously wouldn't be there if it weren't for the community that supported it. We've been quite lucky to have the kind of response to the local film community as possible. And what I find is great about what we do is, again, it allows me to meet all these new people. Right. These people that normally I would not have met. There are so many different productions that are going on in town.
Yeah.
and having the Indie Film Factory, I have like a front row seat to that. So I always get like the insider football on all that stuff, and it's cool. I enjoy that kind of aspect of it.
No, and it is. There's so many amazing films going on in Vegas too. There really is. I mean, I try to keep up on all the Facebook groups and stuff because there's a million of them, and it is like you're like, oh my gosh, another one, but it's awesome. So that is cool to do that.
And my biggest regret that I didn't get into this industry like now. Like when I first started here in this community, there was very little. I mean, there were about 4 or 5 filmmakers that I could tell you that were doing things at that time. But back then, it was right when video was starting to make its emergence to the market. So if you didn't have 16 millimeter film or you didn't have a budget, it was quite difficult to kind of be taken seriously. Yeah. And of course, filming there weren't that many options for filming in studios. There were a few, of course, but you have this amazing transformation of an industry locally with technology that just makes this almost like a little mini Hollywood. I feel like it's like Hollywood in like the 1950s. It was a boom for what's happening here in Las Vegas.
Oh, I agree. And even some people I've talked to, they're saying like, and I really agree that like Vegas is kind of like the next Hollywood, because if you think about it, it's the perfect place to film. The weather's pretty steady. Even when it's hot, it's still not like that bad. You have the lake, you have the mountains, you have the forest. I mean, you have everything. You have a city, you have residential. I mean, it really is. It's a perfect place to film, and there's so many amazing talents here, and Hollywood is starting to recognize it more and more too, which is a really cool thing.
Yeah, and I think also, what is Hollywood? Like Hollywood is more of a thing. It's not. Right. It's more of an idea these days, because I mean, a lot of television shows are now being filmed all over the world, all over the United States.
Yeah.
And Nevada, certainly has its work to do in terms of becoming that place. And we have some amazing people at the Nevada Film Office that are working and plugging away to make that happen. But at the end of the day, it's really about just creating an environment that's easy for filmmakers to use and to navigate through.
Yeah.
I think Nevada's great for that. I mean, we have an amazing county that has given me obviously access to do some pretty incredible things that if I were in Los Angeles would have cost me tens of thousands of dollars, if not more, just to get permission to go into some of these locations. So like Alien Domicile, we shot pretty much our entire movie there. We also shot the movie that we were in, or that we worked on together, Territory 8.
It's a poop plant.
We call it the poop plant.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that place was incredible. I mean, in terms of location value, was pretty incredible. But I mean, you couldn't build that on a set. I mean, we're talking like miles of underground concrete tunnels. Yeah. The facilities are just incredible, and that, of course, elevates our production value with very little effort. In terms of what we're having to stage and create. And that helps us when we're getting ready to go to the market. So now, I mean, our little movie, a little microscopic budget movie, can compete with movies that are in the, $1 million, $2 million range, and fit in quite comfortably in that range. And that's a really good thing when you're looking at marketing a film.
No, that is, and it's a great thing, and you get really cool sets. But I also got to say, you build like some of the most incredible sets, because even like obviously you couldn't replica the place we were filming, but like you did the same type of walls and stuff, and like even did the doors, and like that's a really great thing. That's a very hard, but you did it perfectly. Like you couldn't even tell the difference. It was crazy.
Well, thank you. I mean, I have to obviously compliment Charisma, because Charisma is she's not only an artist, but she's also she's done photography, so she has that experience. She works with Cirque, and so she's got some experience painting for them, and she's able to kind of make things. I always say she's really good at making things look old and aged, and it's. I really
that's a good thing. Yeah.
I mean that as a compliment, because
for sure.
Because that's a big deal when you're trying to.
It's more realistic.
Right, right. There's those little tiny details that are so very, very important on a set. I mean, even if maybe the camera doesn't always see it, when you get an actor that walks into that room and you can feel what that scene looks like, there's a whole nother thing psychologically that happens. So for me, it's always very important to try to get that detail as close to as possible to what it should be, and try to take that extra step, go the extra mile. If it costs a little bit extra, then it's worth it, because it will help overall the environment of the production.
Oh, I agree. Even with Territory 8, that was, I think, my very first feature film I ever did, too. So, like, I was like, oh, my goodness. But it was true. Like, the hospital little bed was set up there, and I was like, oh, my gosh. Like, this is just crazy. And I was like, this is like a real film set, and it was so cool. But it does. It changes everything. The whole environment, really. It is. It's a great, great thing.
Yeah, and I mean, I would be joking with you if I didn't say, they're very difficult. Building sets in your studio.
Yeah.
When we did Domicile, I mean, even Territory 8, but even more so Domicile, we, our studio since then, I mean, when we shot Territory 8 in our studio, we'd only been open for about a year.
Yeah.
So our business wasn't, it takes about 3 years to get a business going.
For sure.
And so when we opened up that studio, it wasn't that busy. I mean, this studio's busy now. Yeah. I mean, it's hard for me to even find time to do my own things in the studio. So when we had to go in there and tell our clients, hey, I got to shut this thing down for 3.5 weeks to go build these sets and get these things together, it was a pinch.
Yeah.
And so I remember the day that we broke down our last set. I mean, we literally tore that set down and had it loaded out within 4 hours after we wrapped.
Wow.
Very difficult to do. And so you lose a lot of sleep. You feel quite dusty. You're very dusty. That's all I gotta say.
It's like the 40-hour film project again. Except in 4 hours, you gotta knock it down. So that's crazy.
I say owning a studio is like having a construction site. It seems like it's never done. It's always under construction.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Always under construction.
That's true. But no, like I said, Indie Film Factory is incredible, and it's a staple of the Las Vegas film community, and that's a really important thing, and you should be very proud of yourself. You and Charisma have done an amazing job with it. So.
Well, we appreciate that, and again, we thank everyone who's been able to support us over the years, including you and your lovely mother.
Yeah.
Who have been literally our biggest champions in this community. So
well, we've been blessed to be able to be part of it. We really are, because it's so cool, and it's truly an honor. And even having you on tonight, I was just like, it was very nostalgic for me, because that's the whole reason, because of you, I got into everything. And I mean, it really is. It's like a real big honor to have you on, and your beautiful daughter, of course, Eleanor, who's doing amazing.
She's like waiting to scream. Listen, I've seen you grow up, and I probably embarrass you saying that.
No.
I've seen you grow up, and you're such a beautiful soul, beautiful person, and it is so amazing. You're such a beacon of positivity, and you're giving that positivity to people. That's so important, especially today when there's a lot of negative things going on, social media and people, attitudes. But I think you keep up that positive drive, and I think that's what makes you quite unique in so many ways.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that, and I try, but it's hard, and as I'm sure you know, but you too, you always are there, and you're always positive, and you're always supporting everyone, and that's a really, really cool thing. And you should be, and you are like the craziest, busiest people I've ever met. Like, you're always constantly doing stuff. So for you to get out there and help support other people too, that's a really great thing, Kelly.
Yeah, I mean, of course it's tough, scheduling is tough, but you got to take a break sometimes and step back and try to make some room for other things. And again, it opens your horizons for who else is out there doing things.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Very important.
For sure.
Very important.
Well, we are actually going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we will be back with more Kelly and Eleanor, so stick around. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Corey Taylor Talks, live from Las Vegas, the #1 teen talk show. Eleanor is over watching us, but we once again have Kelly Schwarze with us. So once again, so excited to have you on. So thank you.
No, this is great. This is fun. I'm having a really good time.
Well, before we get into it, I want to say a quick shout out to my sponsor, The Other Sides, and that's theothersides.com. You can check them out, and they're the truth behind the paranormal and conspiracies, which is right up my alley, because I'm like a huge conspiracy theorist, for you guys that don't know. So it's really, really cool. We're so honored to have them as sponsors, so go check them out, theothersides.com. Mikey and Alex, they were on a few weeks ago, and they're great, so go check them out. All right, awesome.
It's a great segue. There are movies about conspiracy theories.
Yes, it's perfect. You can't get any better. So let's talk more about Alien Domicile. What's it actually about?
Well, Alien Domicile is basically about 4 government contractors that wake up and find themselves contained in this box. I mean, it's a safe room kind of thing. And so they don't know what's going on. They've been ordered to stay there, or have they? They really have no idea why they're there or how they got there. but all they know is that they're in an infamous Area 51 style base. And so obviously as this plot progresses, you realize that there's more to the story, and they don't necessarily know how long they've been down there. So their time is distorted, and of course, there's a menacing alien that's hunting them down as they decide to creep out and venture through the fray.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Yeah. And that's pretty much it. But I mean, a lot of it's based on, pulling from some of the conspiracy theories of what that base is at Area 51.
Yeah.
And the relationship that our government has with extraterrestrials. And I had a lot of fun with that. Whether or not, I don't know, I don't have access to the facts.
Right.
Like a lot of people do, but I think it was a lot of fun to write something like this because I could pull from those things that some people truly, truly believe are some serious points.
That's me.
Perhaps.
I really am into that stuff. So I'll fall for anything, honestly, as long as you can make it sound kind of convincing. I'm like, yes, you're right. So I fall for everything.
Well, Elvis, I don't think is still alive. I'm just telling you.
He's not alive anymore, but he didn't die when he did die. That's all I gotta say. But no, so that's perfect. I love it, and alien films are so much fun too. And Will Edwards being the alien, you can't get any better.
Yeah, well, look, when our distributor came to us and they said, hey, Territory was great and all that good stuff. We had some success with it, but boy, if you had had a monster in that. And so immediately as the business owner that I am, I start thinking, okay, how do I figure that out? How do I do it? So when we went back to the drawing board, I figured, how do I make something that's going to have legs, so to speak?
Yeah.
Literally like an alien with legs. So we sat down, we figured it out. It went from various versions. At one point, I even think we were talking about doing like a Minotaur.
Wow.
Bring the Minotaur story, modernize that a little bit. But
that would be cool.
But the idea of doing an alien, at first I'm like, it's such a overdone thing, and it's right on the nose. And originally the movie was just going to be called Domicile, but then the distributor, I had a conversation. He says, no, you're missing the mark. It's not about. Don't try to be clever with your title. Just create something that people are going to be searching for.
Yeah,
and so I said, Alien Domicile, and he said, you're a genius. I said, well, we'll see. We'll see how the movie does in a few weeks when it hits Amazon. So the point being is that, but obviously we just did the book.
Yes.
And the book's marketing itself. I mean, it's up there with Alien, the novel.
Oh, awesome.
So I don't have to do much with that, and so that's what's pretty cool about that whole thing is that titles are king, and you have to. It sounds cheesy to some extent, but hey. It's working.
No, it's true, and I think that's true. A lot of filmmakers, I think they overthink everything and they make it, let's be more mysterious and stuff. But no, tell what it's actually about, because that's what people want to watch, and that's how they find it. And that's a very good point too. Like even Ouija, well, obviously it's about a Ouija board, and so I mean it's true, and aliens have such a huge market, and everyone's fast. And I think now more and more people are even getting more and more interested in it. So I mean that's a great film to have, and it's right on top. It's a hot topic.
When I sat down to write that thing, I'm looking at it from perspective of budget. I'm looking at a perspective, how many can I do this in like 3 locations with like 2 people? Right. And so what was fun about that was being able to sit down and write something that was contained. But I knew that going into this that I needed some pretty incredible actors to be able to pull that together, because it is a character movie. Right. And of course, when you have that kind of thing, those characters have to be interesting, and they have to being interesting is also about being able to act in a very small space and create things that aren't even there. It's easy when you give somebody a prop. When you say sit in this room and be interesting, how do you do that? It's challenging. So.
No, for sure. And so it obviously started off as a movie. What made you want to do the book about it?
Well, I have to tell you, I have been soul searching for another creative outlet, because obviously I love telling stories. That's what I do first and foremost. I was telling John, your technical director over here, that I am the least technical person in the world.
I don't know. I probably come very close.
No, you're far more advanced than me. Let me tell you. But I mean, when it comes to making movies is a very technical process. There's a lot of money and a lot of resources and a lot of tech that goes into these things. And for me, I feel like it sometimes is a bit limiting. It's like having a bunch of sandbags on my shoulder and I'm running through the desert. I just want to run. And so when I sat down to write that novel, it was like a lightning rod of excitement. I mean, I was able to go anywhere I wanted with it. And what's great about the novels, there were things that I could do with a story that I wasn't able to do with a movie.
Of course,
because of budget. You can't make Ben-Hur. You gotta do a little small movie.
No, it's true.
So when I was able to do that with a book, and that was what was really fun about the book. So I am really enjoying that part of it. So that was kind of, of course it's to help the movie and market the whole product in general, but I really enjoyed that experience.
No, that's a cool thing, and the book got incredible reviews on Amazon too and stuff, and it's just blowing up, and everyone's really loving it. And even the trailer, which we can't play it now because this is audio, but we're gonna play it in the video. It's incredible. We went there to the trailer release party, and it was like everyone was freaking out because it was so great, and everyone was so excited about it.
Well, thank you. I mean, I was a little nervous. Like anytime you do something, you hold your breath and you stand in a corner. I usually kind of slip into the shadows, and I just kind of hold my breath, going, well, "What are people gonna? Are they gonna throw something?" But people had a good time. I was quite happy with the response.
Oh yeah, for sure. And the voice is on with us as well. So.
I just have to say, I know you work with a low budget, of course, but your movies, Kelly, are Hollywood. Like, you would never, ever in a million years think you have a low budget, and I mean that. Like, I understand that. Because we all make movies, and we have our budgets are like near to nothing.
No, for sure.
But the way your movies come out are amazing. You would never in a million years think they were an independent film. You would never, ever in a million years think it was such a small budget. Like, it's complete 1,000,000% Hollywood quality, if not better than a lot of the ones that come out of Hollywood. So, I just wanted to say that as a person watching your movies and seeing that, and I also want to say as a director, Corey's worked with a lot of different directors, and you are truly an amazing man. You're people respect you, and you're just so good with everyone. Like, you care about your cast. You're not an egomaniac. Your whole group around you, all the people, Mark and Michael and Omar, and the whole little group are charisma. All of them, they care about. It's not an ego thing. They get along. You feel like you're with family, and I think that's why your actors work the extra mile for you and stuff, because they love working with you. So I just really wanted to say that, because you're an amazing man, a hell of a director, and also don't forget to talk about his dad's Vietnam, because that was an amazing movie too. It was. I mean, you really have a lot going for you, and I can't wait to see Alien Domicile. I know,
we're so excited.
Yeah, very excited. But your movies are just amazing.
Above and beyond.
Truly.
Well, first off, it's hard to be getting out through this door on that high horse you just put me on. But no, listen, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I mean, at the end of the day, I try to make the experience good for everybody, because you're with a group of people for an extended amount of time. It should be a pleasant experience.
For sure.
And one of the things that I feel that is so important is to try not to waste people's time. So when I'm on my set, we try to have a very focused military-esque operation. We get in, we get what we need. There's not a lot of wasting of time, because because that's the one thing you can't give back. I mean, you can give somebody a lot of money to do something, but that if you're wasting their time, it's something they can't get back. And I'm also a big believer in you can inspire people through your own passion. And if you're not very passionate about what you're doing, I don't care how much money you're throwing at them. I don't care what kind of project it is. At that point, it becomes a job.
Yeah.
And so I think the goal of any of these projects are to bring people onto the team and to ultimately inspire people to be a piece of the fabric of the film, woven into the fabric of the film, versus just, this is a job, I'm going to do my job and go home and da-da-da-da-da. And I think that's why I've kept the same core group of people.
Yeah.
Because they're on that. But by no means is it always harmonious. I mean, we have, on sets, tensions get high.
Of course. Anything, though, especially when we're stuck together 24/7.
So I got to tell you a little side note. When we shot Alien Domicile, it was like day number 3, and we were filming at this water reclamation plant. It's in the middle of summer. It's hot. There's spiders.
Yes.
It's in we were in a building called the Old Solids Building. So as you can imagine what that used to be, and it was a dreadful place. It's an amazing location, but it's not very comfortable for
not
crew.
Fun to be in.
And so they were not going to let me film there. There because since we filmed our last movie, Territory 8, there's been some complications over there with film crews. And so unfortunately they're not necessarily film friendly. But the people that give the powers, that give permission, they said, Kelly, because it's you, we will let you come back in here and do this. So we're on day 2 and we're shooting, and the fire alarm went off. Because we had a fog machine, which we had cleared, but somebody moved the little door stop, and one of the stairwells filled up with fog.
Oh my goodness!
So it set the thing off. Well, when that happens, it's a county building, so the county, and so we all had to evacuate the building, and we're all standing. I've got my actor in the alien suit. I mean, it looks like a joke, And the security team, he had to go all the way. It's a 200-acre campus.
Yeah, it's far.
And so he had to haul butt across that property to get to us. And so I'm thinking, they're going to shut this thing down.
Right.
I mean, we are done. We are done. But surprisingly, the alarm went off. The fire department ended up pulling back. There was a false alarm. And they were like, just keep the doors open, guys. Don't do that again. And I couldn't apologize to them enough. I'm sorry. And we ended up shooting for another 2.5 weeks there. And it worked. But you have those things, and it's very stressful.
Yeah, well, things always happen, but it's how you handle it too that's very important as well. And
yes, immediately my mind is going, okay, we could build this in the studio. We could build that. Maybe I could find. Maybe I could just change the strip, and it takes place inside of a Burger King somewhere.
That would work.
Right. We can fix this. Immediately. But you have those instances, and the tension is very, very hot, and I'm not always known on set as being. I'm focused. I'm very direct, and I get the job done. Some of my crew will say they call me the dictator, and they do it lovingly. But I'm sure they kind of go, I could just,
No, but as an actor, I can't say crew member because I haven't been a part of a crew, and I have absolutely no idea. That's above my head. But you were so great to work with, and you were understanding, and like you said, and that's a very important thing too, because a lot of films, and I completely understand, because you never know what's going to happen, but it goes way over the time where like you're set to film that day and you're there the whole day and you never even get to film, and that stuff happens anywhere, of course, but it's frustrating. But you weren't like that. You're very focused on your time, and you're very focused on getting people when they have to actually get there and stuff, and that's a really cool thing for you to do.
Yeah, and it's important because when I had a director. He's passed since, but he was a legendary director. He did Viva Las Vegas and Anchors Away. His name was George Sidney, and this is a guy who when I had an opportunity to sit down and talk with him, and I said, what would you suggest for an independent filmmaker? And he surprised me with what he said. He said, he sat up. He was in a wheelchair, and he sat up, and he says, "Only shoot what you need." I mean, that goes against everything they teach you in film school.
Right.
You shoot a master, and then you shoot the close-up, and then you shoot the medium, and blah, 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 blah. You only shoot what you need. And so it agitated my mind a little bit. And so when I started doing my shot list and things and preparing for my scenes, I started, even with my writing, I started thinking, what do I really need to tell this story to connect the audience with that emotion? And it forces you to have to think, I think, ahead of the game. So I always believe the movie's made in the planning.
Yeah.
And then when you get to set, it's just like pushing buttons and doing this and that. But at the end of the day, that's what I learned from that process. Now, I will admit to you, there's times I'm sitting in the edit going, God, I wish I would have had an extra coverage of this thing. But it does. It forces you to be very particular and very time conscious too.
Yeah.
Saves a lot of time.
Oh yeah, and it was a great thing to work with you for that too, because you really get a feel for it, and I think a lot of people can learn from you. And you also you host a lot of workshops at the Indie Film Factory too, which is so cool because you learn so much from it, and you really are great with it.
Oh, they're a lot of fun. I mean, we have such a great time doing those. Everything from cast or directing workshops to producing. We even had one on movie posters one time. We had Chris Mayashiro, who's actually a local filmmaker.
Yeah,
Chris came in, and he's a graphic designer by trade, and he came in, set up a screen, and showed people how to lay out a movie poster, which is pretty cool.
I wish I was there for that. Dang it, I missed that one. That's cool.
Yeah.
Because the movie poster, that's what sells everything too, and there's so much little stuff that people don't think about, and it all adds up completely. And but you have it down packed. You really do.
Well, when you get into the business side of it, you realize that a lot of what we do is about positioning and packaging. I mean, in some cases, it's not even necessarily what the movie's about. So, I mean, I've even had distributors tell me, we don't even really watch the movie. We just want to know, does it have this, this, and this? Wow. Does the poster look good? Wow. Because the posters will look, in some cases, better than the movie ever could be.
Right.
I mean, the artwork.
I've seen a couple movies like that.
I mean, they're incredible. You pop a thing, and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know why. But that's how But at that point, too late. We got your money,
right?
Suckers. But the point being is that's the business that we operate in.
Yeah.
We're not under the same microscope, let's say Hollywood is. So it does in some respect give us a little bit of fun to kind of create things and embellish the world around the product. And sometimes it can be quite a big letdown. I've had my share of bad criticism, or bad things and bad feedback, and it never gets easy. No. But you learn what's important, and you try to focus on doing the best job you can on what's really important. Yeah. Because you can't be great at everything. You just have to find something that you can, and just to stick to that.
Well, I was going to ask, what advice, because I think everyone's like, oh yeah, it'd be great to be in the film community, it'd be great to be a director, it'd be great to be an actor, but they don't realize it's a lot of work and dedication, and you do have to be very, very passionate, and it's not all just fun and games, as much as it'd be great if it was, but it can be very stressful sometimes. So what advice do you have for people that maybe want to think about getting into the film community or something?
Well, I tell my students at the school, I say, this is not a career, this is a lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's no different than if you are into like fixing up cars. In some cases you could sell a car that you fix up and make money at it, but more than likely you're not. It's going to be a hobby. It could be a hobby, and you have to be prepared for that. And I think a lot of filmmakers get into this and they realize like, oh, this is a terrible career to be in because I'm broke all the time, or it's expensive.
Yeah,
this is terrible.
No,
so then they go do something else, and that's why there's such a huge I guess not a big conversion rate for people leaving film school and actually going into the industry. I mean, and a lot of people end up in like other technical jobs in indie industry, whether they be a camera operator or, not that that's a bad gig, but if you want to be the next, Steven Spielberg or whatever, that's not the avenue path. So I think if that's your career path, I think you would want to focus on just telling stories, and giving yourself patience and time. It takes a lifetime to master what you want to accomplish. I look at Alien Domicile now and I say, this is a pretty cool movie, but I know that if I were to shoot it today, it would be 100 times better than what it is now, just because that's the evolution of us as artists, and I think you go through an entire lifetime of that. So I don't ever so I think just keep trying, don't ever give up, and find something that can support you in the background. And it's important to find people and resources and money to support you as because you don't want to be struggling. I think if you're sleeping in your car, or you're broke all the time, that's not a good avenue, because you're going to become desperate. You want to have something. I know people that are real estate agents, and they go out and shoot movies, and that's so cool. And they say, well, I'm ready to make the leap and quit my job. And I say, look, calm down. Calm down. Not the old don't quit your day job, but it is true. I mean, let's just take it easy. Find something that can support you and sustain you, and work on your creative energy. Because you can't, to me, I can't do that if I'm worried about eating.
Yeah, no, very true. Especially when people have families and stuff. It's very difficult. And as much as you love to give all to it, you do use. I think it is a very important thing sometimes to have kind of a fallback type of situation where you can still go and do what you love, but not always exactly like you said, think of it as a career.
Well, I don't always call it a fallback. I mean, I'm also a believer that sometimes, like I never had a backup plan. My ultimate end game was to be successful in my career as a filmmaker, as an artist. That's it. I didn't have like, well, if I don't do this, then I'm going to go do that. That's never been the case, but I have had things that have supported me over the years.
Right.
I mean, before I made my first 2 feature films working as a picture framer at a little time, probably smaller than this room right here that we're standing in and sitting in.
Wow.
And I worked there for not just a handful of years, I worked there for almost 7 years.
Wow.
And I must have framed 1,000 pictures. In fact, I go to places and restaurants and I'll see things like, I think I framed that thing.
Oh my gosh,
that's but
crazy.
I did that. That supported me, and it gave me the flexibility to go out and do my thing. And I did graphic design for a while, and I still in some cases do that. I mean, I still hire I'm hired as I was just yesterday shooting a commercial, in Portland. So I mean, I travel and I do that stuff. So I still technically have a bit of a day job, I guess, if you call it that.
No, that's cool. That's really cool. I never knew that. The voice again.
Sorry, Danette Toll
We Love Danette.
Yeah,
Yes,
she's awesome.
From the Nevada Film Office. She wanted to know who's Kelly's favorite Star Wars character is.
I'm going to answer that quickly. I'm going to say it's Chewbacca, and I'll tell you why it's Chewbacca. Because I've become friends with Peter Mayhew, who plays Chewbacca. I directed him in a music video.
Oh, that's cool.
And just the other day, as a matter of fact, I got a spam from him. Somebody hacked into his email account and sent spam out. And I thought...
that you got spam from Chewbacca.
But that would be my answer, would be Peter Mayhew.
Can you do the Can you do like the... I can't... Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I know somebody can do it much better than me. But I had an opportunity to work with Peter, and he was super cool. I directed him in some music video, and I stayed in contact with him for a while, and him and his wife were really cool people.
No, that's a cool thing too, because like I meet some people and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm meeting them right now. That's got to be a really surreal thing, and to actually work with them and I mean, direct someone from Star Wars, that's a really, really cool thing. How is that? Like, how do you feel about that? Because that's
well,
cool.
I can pull from yesterday. So I'm in Portland, Oregon yesterday, and I'm sitting with I won't mention him because he's top secret right now, but he's an MMA superstar. I mean, this guy's a world famous, athlete. And I'm sitting in his living room playing with him playing with his kids, little kids, my daughter's age. And we're sitting here having coffee and just watching TV, and I'm waiting for my Uber to pick me up. I'm way out in the sticks, and it was just a surreal feeling. But you realize that that with celebrities and the ones that I've met, and I've met tons and buckets full of celebrities, is that they're folks. They're trying to get on with it, and even when you think somebody is at a level where they're just like they're still trying to get somewhere.
No, for sure.
And that's always a constant drive for people I think who are successful. And I find that you can relate to them quite well by just being cool, just being relaxed and doing your thing, but not to sound jaded or anything like that, but you do, after working in this industry for a while, you start to go, oh wow, that's cool. Like, I hardly ever get selfies with celebrities because either I forget or I'm too busy trying to get wrapped up so I can get home to my daughter.
Yeah, no, that's true.
And that's the truth.
I wish I was like that. I'm still like, every single time I meet someone, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Especially when it's someone you looked up to.
Who's your favorite celebrity or Star Wars character?
Oh, Star Wars character? Oh goodness, I've never seen one Star Wars. Is that really bad?
That's it. I'm leaving the studio.
Is that really
I'm
bad?
out of here. What kind of show is this now? No, hey, look, that's okay, but we got to have a marathon.
Okay, yes, let's do it.
Let's have a marathon.
Let's do it. Yeah, I've never seen. I feel horrible, and people always think of me like that. But
yeah.
oh well.
I what was great about Star Wars is it's obviously a generational thing, but like I took my daughter to see the last two new ones.
Yeah.
And she likes them. I mean, she gets it. I mean, the characters, something about those characters and the music and stuff that kind of pulls them in. I'm of course a fan of the old school.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But I really enjoyed Rogue One. I thought they did a really good job. I was almost a little bit emotional at the end when I don't want to spoil it, but when you see a particular character who's no longer with us, and it was so lifelike and unbelievable. So.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And I read all the spoilers, so I know everything about it. But no, it is cool. It's cool. But yeah.
A guy named John wrote in and said, "Who would you be in awe of? Like, I guess there's any."
Oh, that's a good one.
I think if I met Michael Jordan.
Oh, that'd be really cool.
I mean, Michael Jordan would be, I think, person I'd be like, oh, Michael Jordan. I mean, of course, I've never met Steven Spielberg or George Lucas, but I'm sure I'd be excited to see them. But Michael Jordan, for some reason, has always been somebody, and it's not even his basketball career that was inspiring to me. It was his baseball career that was inspiring to me.
Oh, interesting.
Here's a guy who,
honestly, I never even knew he had a baseball career.
No, but a lot of people who, they think of, Michael Jordan in basketball, but Michael Jordan left the NBA at the top of his career to go pursue a career as a baseball player. Wow. And everybody thought he was nuts, but he wanted to do it. He's one of those people that wants to reinvent himself and always try new things. And so I have such an incredible, profound respect for him as an athlete, as a person, whatever, and as an entrepreneur. So I think, I'd be pretty excited.
No, that's a good one. Yeah. That's a good one.
A non-filmmaking.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. See, you're very versatile. That's always a good thing. Well, we are unfortunately already getting to the end of our show. It went by so crazy quick. So why don't you when is Alien Domicile coming out? Where can people find it? Where can people get the book? Where can people get a hold of any film factory? Just everything. So all of my products are available on Amazon. Alien Domicile will be available on Amazon Prime and Amazon stores
end of March. I don't have an exact date yet. I'm still kind of finagling that with our distributor right now and getting all that stuff lined up, but you'll be able to ultimately see it. There's also some works with some other obviously domestic outlets. I can't really mention the platforms, but just know that it'll be quite easy to access on multiple platforms. And the book is already available. You can get it on Kindle Unlimited for free if you have Kindle
That's
Unlimited.
great, yeah.
Or you can of course buy the paperback or just buy the digital file through Amazon. Awesome. So it's available. Just do a search on Amazon for Alien Domicile and that thing will pop right up.
Yeah, and I am so excited to see it. I think everyone, it's a really big film that a lot of people are looking forward to.
Are you going to have another screening type of thing, or you're not sure yet?
Well, obviously my goal is to get people to gravitate toward Amazon. Obviously if it's free to people who can watch it on Prime, I would much rather have them go and watch it and drive that ranking up on Amazon. I mean, I've done big premieres.
I understand.
Done big premieres in the past, and they're a lot of fun. And I'll probably do one maybe after the fact. It's just a celebration for the community.
You can actually watch it on Amazon.
Yeah, you bet.
Awesome.
Yeah, you bet.
Cool. I got you.
That'll be cool. I kind of find that too, because once you show everyone it, they don't go out and buy it anymore and stuff. So that's a smart idea. That's a really smart idea.
Yeah, and again, I mean, if you have a Prime membership, I mean, most people now have Prime where they're ordering stuff on Prime. I mean, it's free. So I mean,
why not?
And from what I understand, independent movies are really good when they're free.
Yeah,
they're really good.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But no. But truly, Kelly, it was such an honor to have you and your beautiful daughter, Eleanor, who is going to be a filmmaker. I could completely see it. I mean, even the movie, the thing you did with her, that was so cute and it was so adorable, and everyone just loved it. It went almost viral in the community.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
It was a lot of fun. We had a fun time with that, and that's my entertainment. It makes more sense than sitting there playing with toys. Sometimes I can occasionally. She had a good time doing it. It's like, okay, this is something. This is our thing.
Yeah.
Did she ever fit in her little VD? Remember
she did.
Oh,
yes, she did.
Oh
she
my gosh, I forgot about that.
Yes, she did. In fact, I think we gave that to when she was out of it. We gave it to another family that had a little baby.
Oh, that's so cool.
Product placement.
No, that's awesome, and but no, that gives a lot of creativity to her too, and it shows it empowers her almost, and that's a really cool thing for you to do. But yeah.
Well, when I'm sure mom can relate to this when having girls, raising kids. What do you do with them? Play, and you're sitting there playing with dolls and toys, and for me, I'm sitting there, what can I do? And she's at this age now where you can kind of do really anything.
Yeah, no.
As long as they're using their mind, it's really fun,
Oh, yeah.
And that's what I'm having a good time. And her mom, Charisma, is really good with her.
Charisma
and
is
she
great,
paints and she does painting and they do the story.
So cool.
So she's in good hands, I think.
No, for sure. She got great parents, and yes, two very creative and amazing parents, and we absolutely adore you and your wife and Eleanor, of course. I remember when she was born, so it's crazy. So
that's right.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's all on Amazon. People can look it all up, and even all your old past films as well. They're all on Amazon.
Yeah, Dad's Vietnam, the documentary I did with my dad. Oh, and Speakeasy. That's a new one. So go to Amazon Prime and type in Speakeasy. It's a movie. It's kind of more controversial, but it's about a Holocaust denier named David Irving. They just did a big movie called Denial, and my other partner, Lincoln Hudson, went to England a few years ago to interview him.
Wow.
And we did a documentary on historical revisionism and the rise of populism around the world. It's a quite interesting story. It's obviously far different than the other subject matters that I do, and quite a disturbing conversation. But it's now available on Amazon Prime. This is the first time I've promoted that. So check it out. Go to Amazon Prime and look up Speak Easy.
Speak Easy. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Kelly and Eleanor, and thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, never give up, always believe, and you will achieve. Thank you, and God bless.
I know where I was this morning. I just wish I had more time.